1, 2.
What does it mean to me? Well, it has shaped my life, actually. I can claim to be a former Royal Marine physical training instructor. End of.
Arm straight.
I think the one thing about the Royal Marine PTI is that, first of all, they have a great sense of humour. The second thing is that a PTI will never say, I can't do it. They'll always find a reason why they can.
Move the feet.
People say you shouldn't dwell on the past, but
All the way up, all the way down.
23 years of somebody's life, with all the friends that you make and all the comrades that you have, it's a brotherhood, and it's nice to keep in touch with that brotherhood.
Once a Marine, always a Marine, and they were the best. That's really why I wanted to join them.
Officially formed in 1755 as the Royal Navy's infantry, the Royal Marines trace their origins to the Duke of York and Albany's Maritime Regiment of Foot, established in 1664.
To quote Churchill, a formidable and versatile company of warriors as highly trained as any the world has seen.
The assault goes in.
All the elements of the corps badge and the crest of the Royal Marines has been earned through various battles, and they've had so many battle honours. We've been in continuous active service since the Second World War, right up to Afghanistan and beyond.
Right, lads, staying in the low ground. Staying in the low ground, we're going to push on to Greens 2. Last mile of 2 section.
One of the things that the Marines have been very good at, and I'm sure everybody would agree with this, is that we're value for money. They've always tried to get rid of us. I can remember in 1982, when I was still serving, they wanted to get rid of the Marines because of the cost, and the Navy weren't prepared to actually fork out the sort of money that was required. And what we did then was to formulate the commandos into smaller groups, fighting groups, which we're all good at. And even today we have commandos which can be split up or formulated into a larger fighting group.
An elite force, they are expected to fight under the toughest conditions, and it's the Royal Marines Physical Training Branch that gets them there.
If you ever visit the Commando Training Centre and see the training, you'll realise that fitness is absolutely basic.
The Royal Marine PTIs are the business when it comes to training. All right? There's no messing around.
No one here is impressing me so far. No one here is impressing any of the instructors. It's down to you. You don't change, we can't change for you, so you'll automatically leave this camp. Do you understand?
Yes, sir!
You're building a character. You're building an individual to be able to do the job of a Marine.
Get f***ing down! Unbend! Stretch! Right, in the field, when we tell you to do something, you do it like f***ing grease weasel shit. You go so fast, you can see your shadow behind you. 5 in your own time, go on.
So the physical training side is very, very important to ensure that they can go into battle with confidence and do extraordinary things. They can work in the jungle, they can work in the desert, they can work in the sea, they can work underwater, they can work anywhere.
Invariably, you've gone through very arduous conditions to get to the enemy, and then you've got to be fit enough to win.
It's just a Marine skill, and we prove it time and time again. The Falklands, 90 miles in 3 days, carrying all their kit and equipment, and the Argentinians, on their battle plan, ruled out that angle of attack because they said no one's going to get from there to there. There's no physical way of doing it. Unit of Marines.
It takes one person in the section to be a passenger, and that could destroy the whole mission. So every single person has to be at the peak of fitness.
Right, fellas, get a move on. Why is this section lagging behind the rest of the troop? About half a kilometre in front of us now. Pick up the pace, fellas.
If there's a skirmish or there's something that needs to be sorted out somewhere by the government, we're normally first in, last out. To get them to that standard where they feel absolutely anything is achievable takes a long time.
And the physical training branch has to be composed of people who've done that, excelled themselves, done more than any recruit would ever need to do, pushed themselves past the normal limits, and they are natural leaders and good instructors, and therefore you turn out well qualified Royal Marines and young commandos.
Formally established in 1871, the branch was based in the physical training school at Deal until the mid-1970s, when it was relocated to Lympstone.
Nearly every barracks that I've ever served in has closed down. I actually served nearly 13 years down at Deal, and that was the branch headquarters where we used to train all the PDIs, and the gym and the barracks, South Barracks, is still there.
For us that were there, that went through our training at Deal, we will always have fond memories of it.
The PT branch really is famed for its characters, the characters that emerged from that, and also serve with distinction in all different commando units, because you're not just a PTI, you have to do your commando service as well. And if you're fortunate, you then go back to the PT branch.
Let's go and watch Star Wars. Don't know, we watched Star Wars the other week.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
No, watch Pirates 2 again.
Can we
Straight over the saddle, yeah? This is what it's all about, boss. Star Wars.
The guys have a great sense of humour, and I can remember going in one day and our boss, who was a guy called Ron Priddle, captain, smashing bloke, he used to park his car at the side of the gym, and somebody, I couldn't tell you who, took his wheels off, put his car up on bricks, and then took the wheels up on top of the steeple of the gymnasium and left them there, and then put marks all the way up the gym in blanco just to indicate where they were. It's the humour that we have, it's the sense of humour that we've carried for years.
For me, Deal with the PT school there, training recruits, it was a lovely location with tons of history. The spirit of the PT branch was incredible. Also, as well as physical training, there were lots of sport as well in those days.
If I wasn't boxing for the Marines or the Navy, then I'd moved on to judo.
I had judo teams, we were competing every weekend, so I kept entering all the competitions and stuff. And eventually I was a national coach in the 4th Dan.
All PTIs are mad about sport, whether it's judo through to fencing. The Royal Marines sent me to Greenwich College in London, the Naval College, where I trained with the top fencers in Britain. I came up against the Russians, the Hungarians, the Polish, because most of their fencers were in the armed forces.
I did go to European Championships, I did go to the Olympics, but not as a fighting role, but as a merely supporting role.
In terms of achievements, in fact, we have had people like Martin Joyce. He was a great fencer, a Scottish team coach. Bob Anderson, another fencer, he went to the Olympic Games in 1968. He was a Royal Marine, he was the national coach for 20 years, a wonderful man. But then you get multi-talented people like Brian Gibbs. He was not only a basketball player, a very fine tennis player, a fencer, a footballer. There's nothing he couldn't do.
When it comes to being a Marine and getting involved in the active service side of it, that's very much a team sport. You can't be a Marine on your own. We had the comfort, if you can call it that, of knowing that we could rely on our mates.
The Royal Marines Physical Training Branch doesn't just make Royal Marines, it defines the men who serve in it, and it sets them up for life, whatever that may hold.
Every single PTI who's left the Corps has made their mark. I've survived and I haven't done too badly, and I've set up my own company in the end. We've had PT officers gone on to be very senior ranks. In Civvy Street we've had former PTIs who've got very senior positions.
When I left the Marines, I took up managing sports and leisure centres, and then I decided to be bold again and a little bit crazy, and I decided to go out and work for myself.
I've had a wonderful journey from the day I left the Royal Marines, not only doing the Special Olympics, National Games. I was the director of the World Cup for people with disabilities in football, director of the games at the European Football Championships. None of this could have been achieved without my background in working with the Royal Marines.
All the things that you learn in 23 years in the Marines, in looking after your own guys and for them looking after you, you learn that yeah, okay, there are civilians out there. They have to make their money and have to earn their wage. What can you offer? And I think ex-service guys can offer a lot.
Formed in 1971, the Royal Marines PT Reunion Club celebrates that spirit.
The very first PT Reunion was 1971 at Deal, and I was actually serving there when that happened.
We laid on things in the gymnasium which people could appreciate, demonstrations and stuff. A dinner where the guys can talk and converse and tell as many dits as they like.
And it was such a good event that everyone said, well, what are we going to do now? And that's when the PT Reunion Club was actually formed. We then arranged other reunions to follow, and it's been made into a biannual event, and that has carried on ever since. We have a mixture of serving and former PTIs get together, have a weekend of displays, updating, fun and spirit.
That's what we celebrate when we get together. Some celebrate a little bit more than others.
And it's almost like having a drug. When you finish the weekend, you feel top of the world, you can't wait for the next reunion.
The Physical Training Branch Reunion Club is open to anyone who's been a qualified PTI. But of course, we naturally include wives, sweethearts, girlfriends, or even supporters.
One of the valuable things about the Royal Marine PT branch is that it offers support to those in need, those who are not so well.
I know if I was to phone Peter up and tell him I was lonely, and hey, it happens to silly old people like me, then he'd put me in touch with somebody and say, look, have a word with Jack. Give him a bit of encouragement or something, or tell him to go out for a run.
If anyone's ill, sick, in hardship, because we're part of the Royal Marine Association, we can alert people to get support.
It's amazing, as soon as we find out there's something wrong somewhere, how quickly the communication goes. It doesn't matter where you are, you know, we'll get you. We've got people all over. We've got people in the Far East, we've got Middle East, we've got people in Malta, America, all keeping in contact with us.
We're still part of a big family, and so it doesn't have to end when you leave the Corps. I'd invite you to join. It's pretty simple to join, and I think it'll support you in your second career, your second life. Former PTIs have a lot of experience and sometimes job opportunities. The proudest moments are when you're actually at the reunion and you see a display by the younger PTIs that matches up to the standards that you set probably 50 or 60 years previous.
Because even though they're younger, they're still doing the same things now that we did 50 odd years ago, which is nice. And the standards have never ever gone down.
The PT branch spirit is well known and knows no limits, and I think that's something that's special.
You can almost tell if somebody was a Royal Marine PTI just by listening to them talk and watching their behaviour. We're all a little bit crazy, but I think that's good.
Join us. Use us. Come and see what you can actually achieve by just being a member of that club.